Our next guest began his junior hockey career with the Revelstoke Grizzlies before playing in the BCHL for the Vernon Vipers and committing to Brown University. He then made his NHL debut for the Vancouver Canucks in 2010 and played in 114 games in the NHL between the Canucks and the Capitals. We're extremely excited to welcome Aaron Volpatti. How are you doing, man? Thank you so much for being here.
What a resume.
Oh, yeah, not bad, right? Thanks, guys. Happy to be here. Happy to chat on a Friday night, too, of all things, which is different, but good. I should have a beer, but I got my kids' Zevia drink that's just terrible.
Oh, that's cool.
I kind of missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I gotta say, one of my dad's favorite players growing up when I was a kid was you were one of my dad's favorite. Yeah, even though like just whenever you drop the gloves, he was always cheering you on, and iconic name for the Canucks.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I appreciate it. At least there was one. Guy. Well, what's funny is this is different times, but when I played, so you played in Revelstoke. You might even remember this, or no, you were way too young. Never mind. But when I played, the Regent would have a lunch board sign out front on the sidewalk.
Yeah. And
it had my picture on it, and it was like, if our hometown boy scores or fights, then the whole bar gets around. So I didn't fucking score that many goals, right? So all my buddies, like they would be messaging me if the sign was up, like, we're gonna need a fight tonight because we know you can't score. So I would usually.
What happens if you did both?
I would usually drop them. Yeah, that never happened.
Never happened.
I shouldn't say that so quickly. I mean, I only scored 5 damn goals, so I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you scored 5, there's got to be at least one where you might have dropped them in the same game.
If I had the goal and assist, you bet your ass I'm gonna be fighting or jumping someone. Yeah,
that's awesome.
No, yeah, it's so cool to get the chance to talk to someone that we, like me and Joe, got to actually watch play in person as well as on TV growing up. Obviously the Canucks are we were always on. So
Owen, how old were we when we went to go watch him play? Heritage Classic days.
Well, how old are you guys? I don't even know how old you are.
We're 23.
We're both 23.
Yeah, so I'm almost double your age, but not quite.
So 2011, 2012. So 15 years ago. Wow. We're 8 or 9 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, you're younger than my oldest kid. That's a bit scary.
Yeah, that's nuts. Okay.
That's crazy. But okay, awesome. Well, yeah, let's just kind of get into your beginning. So you're from Revelstoke, correct?
Yeah, born and raised. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just kind of get us into your background. How did you first get into hockey? What was your minor hockey journey like, and just kind of your younger days?
Yeah, I wish I had a more original story of how I got into the hockey, but it's probably the same as you guys and every other Canadian kid that grows up playing hockey. At a young age, got on skates on the ponds and the old Revelstoke Forum there at a young age, and obviously loved it and went through the minor hockey system. And I would say it's a little bit different maybe than it is now. I think it's grown pretty good. When I went through it, we didn't really have a ton of players, so we would sometimes play house or single A at the most. And I was good, but I wasn't that good. Good for Revelstoke, right?
Yeah.
But when I went, and if I go try out for a lot of the select teams, or I got cut. I wasn't that good, and I tell everyone that, and they're like, "Yeah, okay," but it's the truth. And so I played my midget year when I was 16, and then played a couple games with the Grizzlies, and that's kind of that's where the junior hockey sort of got started, and I went full time with them my grade 12 year and did pretty well, and then kind of just kept making the jump and going back to hitting and fighting everyone every level I jumped up.
You went up so quick, man. 1 year in Revelstoke, and then you jumped to 1 year in Revelstoke, and then you jumped to Vernon.
Well, I was 1 full year at my grade 11 year when I was APing. Yeah, I made a little bit of noise for myself. We were in the playoffs, and I was just like running around as a young kid. I had the full cage, right? So no one could fight me. So I was just football hitting everyone.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, I think it was one of those ones where, I mean, this is so long ago, but I still kind of remember it. I was super unprepared. Like, I would think I had class, and I probably ate a cheeseburger or something, and our manager called me. He's like, "Hey, you got to play." If someone was sick or something in the playoffs, I was like, "Holy shit!" And I never came out, so made a little bit of noise with just the way I was playing, and then had a good year the next year. And yeah, man, Revelstoke was so cool. We were talking about that before we jumped on here. It's not the same town now that I grew up in. Not that it's not a blue collar town, but that's what it was back then.
I was back last week, man. Even just the amount that it's changed since I played. That was what, 3 years ago now?
For sure. Yeah.
And so
it's changed I'd say for the better. I don't know if everyone agrees with that. Like, it's tons of tourism. It's such a cool town, like so many cool restaurants and coffee shops and bars. And so yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed my grade 12 year there. So the Vipers in Vernon had shown some interest, and I actually went to camp and did really well in my grade 12 year. And they actually wanted me to hang around and kind of like reassess at Christmas, but they were affiliated with Grand Forks. So I leave my like, or whatever the meeting's called after camp, not exit meeting, but just tryout meeting or whatever. And they basically said, like, you're right on the bubble. And Vernon was like the best team in Canada, so I was pumped, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, they said, we want you to hang around, and in a month or two we might send you down to Grand Forks, kind of thing. So I called my dad. I'm like, hey, I'm all excited, like they want me to hang around, and then I might have to go to Grand Forks. He's like, get your fucking ass home. You're going to graduate with your buddies and play for the Grizzlies. I was like, what? Are you sure? And it was one of the best decisions I made, because I would have never played.
Yeah.
They were so good. They were so good, and I wasn't ready. And so yeah, I played really well in Revelstoke and graduated at home. So yeah, he was.
That's funny. Your dad was just ripping off the Band-Aid there, like bringing you back down to reality.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of him wanted to just let me go figure it out, but I think he also knew, like, come on, you're not going to play. Come play like top line minutes. And anyway, it was fun. It was good.
Well, that, like, how crazy was that as a hometown kid, especially because, like, everyone talks about how amazing Revelstoke is, but being from there, like, was there any extra pressure with that, or was it just like, did it just make the experience even more incredible, like, being a hometown kid?
No.
Good question. I don't really remember having any pressure. I just loved it. Yeah. It was cool. It was cool. The pressure never really got to me too much. Sometimes more at the pro level when it's like your actual job now.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit, but yeah, man, I just had a blast and enjoyed playing there. So, but I had a really good piece of advice from our manager. I don't know if you guys know the name Larry Black, but he was the manager in Revelstoke at the time, and I think he saw that my head was getting a little bit too big, because I wasn't like a chump. I think I had almost a point a game kind of thing. So I wasn't, only scrapping. I actually wasn't scrapping that much, just a kind of handful of times. And he pulled me in his office because he knew that I was going to be going to Vernon or trying to go to Vernon. He said, listen, you are not a goal scorer. Don't ever forget that. Because I could always hit. That was my thing. He said, that is your ticket. There's something there. And it was one of the best pieces of advice. And deep down, I knew that, but just for him to remind me of that at that time, because I would have never made junior A trying to be that type of player that deep down I just wasn't. Yeah. So.
Well, then talk about that transition to junior A. Like, the next year you step into Vernon's lineup, obviously, again, like, pretty close to home, still a super cool experience. And I assume they were still a good team that year. So just what was your BCHL experience like as a pretty young kid? How did that kind of progress for the 2 years you were there?
Yeah, man, similar kind of thought is it was just a blast. I had no cares in the world. I was just having a good time and playing hockey, man. It was a blast. We were very good. Like we were top 1, 2, 3 in Canada my first 2 years. My second year in Vernon, when I had this accident, which we can talk about, obviously. Like I think we lost 6 or 7 games in 60 games. Like we were good, real good. So yeah, my first year was definitely eye opening. Like I knew the only way I was going to stay there was to just hit and fight everything. So, you know, I don't know how many fights I had, but probably over 20 that first year. And I remember, this is a funny story. So I was doing pretty well. I was like my first 6 or 7 fights, I, you know, was winning most of them and didn't get hurt too bad. So I was like feeling a little bit cocky maybe. And we were in Trail the game before Christmas break, and Trail had the toughest team in the league at the time. Like just some old.
Well, how could you not in a barn like that?
Yeah, and like they had like a few Sasky boys that were like 6'3", 220, 21-year-olds, right? And I remember we were losing like 6-1. We were just getting thumped, and we had a good team. We had Vandekamp. I don't know if you guys know that name, but he was a little bit crazy in some of his antics. But we hated to lose. I'll give him that. Anyway, so we're losing 5 or 6-1. And there's like 5 minutes left, and the goalie comes out to play the puck. So I run the goalie because that was like, you know, what we did.
So I run the goalie. Nice.
If it was so, like when I played, I feel like it was at the transition of the old school to
That's
the
what I was
new
gonna
school.
say. You played in a unique time because it was turning from, you know, nobody carries a fighter anymore. You still need a little bit of skill. It's starting to turn into like more of a skill. Like 10 years later. Like
this is like 2000. This is like 2003.
Even
like, so it's pretty old. There was 4, 5, 6 fights a game. There's line brawls every other game. Bench clearing brawls like happened a couple times a month. It was still like the wild, wild west a little bit. So that's just what happened. Like if you were getting thumped, shit was going to hit the fan. It was just inevitable. So yeah, the goalie comes out. I was like, the switch goes off. I was like, this is what I should do. So I run the goalie. And it gets like broken up, and I go back to the bench. And the last shift of the game, I don't even think I got a penalty. The last shift of the game, I'm sitting on the bench, and they send out all their tough guys. And the one guy comes out. He's like, put Volpatti out to our coach. So the coach gives me the tap. I was like, all right, okay, I'm 6, 7 fights into my junior A career. And I just happened to line up beside the old, I can't remember what this guy's name was. But anyway, he was a big dude, and he beat the piss out of me so bad. Like he hit me so hard, and I didn't get knocked out, but I kind of did limp, like fall down.
Oh
like,
yeah.
He picked me up by the scruff of my neck like a dog and hit me again, like just staring at him.
Holy smokes.
And my nose was so badly broken. And anyway, we drive home. I'm icing my face, and I wake up in the morning, and I'm going to drive home, make the 2-hour drive to Revelstoke for Christmas, right? And I wake up, and I can't see anything. And I'm like, is it dark? And I'm like, feel my face. I'm like, oh, fuck. And my face was swollen completely shut. So I couldn't drive home. I had to call my mom and dad.
Take to heal. Come on.
Oh, dude, I just sat there all day with like ice and peas on my face, and I managed
That's crazy.
I couldn't see all day.
My God.
Went home, finally made it home the next day, and my mom was crying so badly. And yeah, my dad's, he kind of gave me the like, I bet you aren't going to do that again. I never got beat up that badly again. So
this is a weird question. You probably haven't been asked this before, but how did there's no live stream. So, right? Like, how do your parents figure out what's happening? Like, what, like your dad even watched the game back then? Like, how did they know?
They could watch my college games at Brown, and that was in 2006. That's a good question. You know what? I think they listened on the radio.
Oh,
yeah, that makes
fair
sense.
enough.
So they would come to all the home games, and then like Salmon Arm and the close ones.
Yeah, nearby.
I'm pretty sure it was they would just listen to the radio back then.
Fair enough.
So they probably like heard the melee.
Heard you get knocked out on the radio.
Yeah, you guys are jogging my memory now, but I think that's how it went down on the away games. Is they text, or not text me, we didn't have phones. They'd call me when we got home and say, but there's a message and ask like, "Hey, that one didn't sound too good. How you holding up?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, before we get into your kind of college career, if you were okay to talk about just kind of what went on in Vernon with your accident, and just kind of the end of things there for you.
I'll say you came in and spoke to us when I was playing in Revelstoke and told this story, and it was very eye-opening to hear. So I'll say like a very, very inspirational story, and where you ended up afterwards. I think a lot of people
I appreciate that. That's what the book is about, or this way.
Yeah, that's when.
I'm back.
When you came to speak to us, your book was just releasing, and
yeah.
So.
It's crazy. It's been time flies. 4 years ago almost, but man. Like I'll what I'll say is I'll preface it with this. Like I was kind of labeled the crazy kid from Revelstoke in Vernon, and I kind of leaned into that. Not that I was or I wasn't. It was just kind of like, you got attention from girls, and I was just like the crazy fighter guy that did stupid shit. Like that was just who I was. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're kind of like looking back now. I know you're feeding that young ego a bit, right? And again, just attention and all that stuff. So, my first year in Vernon. So with all that said, we would do like, I don't know what you guys did, but back then we would go do our week-long bender and we would just party for a whole week.
After the year was over?
Do you guys do that, or did you do that?
After the season was over?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was like
okay, so still doing that. That's good.
Maybe it wasn't quite a week long, but a good 4 or 5 days.
Okay, so that's still going on. That's good. I don't know. That was one. I think that's just a unique part of like hockey, is like it's kind of the kickoff to summer, and you're saying goodbye to some of the guys forever potentially, right? That you played with.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed it, and you just for us there was like a lot of disappointment in some of those seasons. Like after this year, my second year, we lost in the finals to Surrey. Like we were supposed to win, but we got shit kicked. Unfortunately, I actually got suspended in the league finals. That's another story. That one, it's a pretty funny one. But or we can say that. Well, I'll tell you that one, and then we'll get into it because it only happened. The accident happened like 2 or 3 days later.
Right.
And I actually blocked a shot with my face in that game, so I was already totally fucked, and my mouth was all cut up.
CTE, bro.
I probably do. I told my wife if I start going squirrely, then but yeah. So I had this, and then we bicked our heads. Don't ever do that. If you haven't, don't do it. Like not like buzz cut, like shave or bick. It was
man.
My head is not it's not a good shape. It's not a good look. But like, dude, the sweat just pouring all over your face. Like there's hair for a reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was a sight for sore eyes. Let's just put it that way. And I had my nose broken again that same game. So I had this big cut, my nose broke, and then I got lit on fire, which we'll get to that. So I was not in good shape.
When you say it like that, it's like it's funny.
It's funny, but
no, you can we can laugh about it. But it's like I think it was like game 2. And so, I mean, there's a lot to this story. So back then it was a stupid rule, but you could pick up a goalie if your goalies got injured, a goalie from any team on the league. I don't know why they had this rule. But there was a goalie in the league. His name was Michael E. Teslak. He was the best goalie in the league. And we had just beaten PG. I think it was the series before, 2 series before. And one of their goalies got hurt in their series before. And so their backup in the finals is some like minor hockey kid. So we know that. and we're losing again. Like we're getting thumped like 5-1. So same thing. The goalie comes out, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run this goalie because I know who the backup is. But I didn't run him. I pretended to lose an edge and just kind of sell it that way. And I actually think apparently I hurt his knees pretty bad, so I don't feel good about that now. But in the time, I was like, whatever. So their minor hockey backup goes in, and we almost won. Like we almost tied the game. So we scored like 4 or 5 goals. Anyway, they pick up Teslack from the series before, who was lights out. And then they had a few other guys, but I got suspended 2 games for that play. And I'm looking at the replay. I was like, I think I sold it pretty well. You can't even tell. But I lost an edge. But yeah, I got, dude, you want to talk about like the worst blindside elbow ever? Because they obviously retaliated for that.
Yeah.
But when I came back, the last game we played, yeah, I wasn't even looking. I was knocked out cold at center ice, just total broken nose,
smokes,
and I had
man.
blocked.
Those are the clips where I'm like, okay, I want to see that on video.
You know what it was like if you have ever seen that Pavel Bure video where he retaliates, and like it was like that, dude. Like I was the other guy. It was like that. So yeah, not in good shape. Anyway, so this is fast forward 2 days later. This is what I look like. And we go on our week-long bender, and we're, day 2 or 3 in, and we go camping way out in the woods where there's no service, no one around. And it's just the team and guys' girlfriends and some random people, and we have a time. And yeah, the year before I had done like this pyro show where I was just doing stupid shit with gas and fire and beer bottles and being an idiot. And yeah, nothing happened, right? And then this year the guys were like, hey, Patty, you gonna do your pyro show? I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it again. And so I was like, yeah, what I was doing is like filling up the bottles with gas and putting the lid back on. So it was like a Molotov cocktail, except there's a lid on it. And then you would like stick it in this little spot in the fire, and it would take a couple minutes and basically just blow up, right?
Yeah.
So again, not smart, but we've kind of been through the whys of all of this. And yeah, I was walking around the party, and I had 2 wine bottles that were full of gas because I was just going to blow those up at some point. And the bottoms had hit and broke, so now I have all this gas on my torso.
Yeah.
And like we were drinking, obviously, and I knew there was like a fire right there. I didn't respect the dangers of the vapors around like that much gas. And yeah, at some point I just remember thinking I reek like gas. I'm just going to throw my sweater in the fire. And I kept what I thought was a safe distance away. And it was like a detonator cord to dynamite. And this like flame just kind of followed me, and I went in flames. And then, yeah, man, that's, I guess, where you could say the whole journey really started. Yeah. And like that fight, flight, or freeze response kicks in, and I couldn't fight the fire, and I didn't freeze, and I just ran as fast. And unfortunately, that was the worst thing I could have done. Yeah, you can't put it out. So I was like rolling around. That doesn't work. Guys were chasing me around. So yeah, obviously I was on fire for too long. But yeah, I remember at some point, and it's kind of like out of body, but I vaguely have this memory of like, it never hurt because you're just in so much shock at the time. But I just remember having this thought of like, holy shit, I've been on fire for a while now. Like, how does this end? Like, I can't just stay on fire. I'm going to die. Yeah. And then as soon as I had that thought, and it was like this weird, and not that I was close to dying. I think there could have been complications after the fact. That's what they told me anyway in the hospital. But yeah, I don't know if I was really that close, but I think I was getting close to the next step because there was like this weird, like eerie calmness, because it was total panic for, I don't know. No one was timing it, obviously. So like panic for like 15, 20 seconds maybe. And then, yeah, at some point after that, there was this weird, like quiet and eerie sense of like, yeah, calmness and peace, I guess. And I think that was like, again, maybe the next step. But that's when I got tackled finally by the guys chasing me. Maybe I started to slow down. I don't know. And then they put it out and just like started beating me with jackets and everything like that. So it was not a good scene, to say the least. Yeah.
No, not good for Bender Week at all.
No, I killed Bender Week real quick. Yeah.
That's what I
can imagine.
I don't think the boys were going out drinking after all
No,
that.
so well here there's a lot of like, we can laugh about it now, but
I don't mean to joke about this. Like, by the way, like I'm not trying to make fun of it.
No,
it's very serious.
You guys played junior hockey, so it's the guys had some fun with it. I'll say that. Once we knew I was like going to be okay,
right?
And we can get into the whole nuances of like what is the burn unit, and it's fucking hell. It really is. But I remember so there was a couple guys that didn't make it out to Blue Nose where we were up this mountain, and they were like stuck at the bar because they couldn't get out. And one of them is one of my best friends still to this day. And the coach like called a meeting the next morning because it was obviously what had happened. And he basically was like, yeah, Patty's in bad shape. I don't know what this looks like. You guys need to get the fuck out of town. Like, party's over. And on the way to the meeting, I remember one of our other buddies is like, we were driving to the meeting and we were pulling like down Main Street, and there was like this bench outside one of the bars, and it was this guy on our team with no shirt, just like getting up, probably smoking a cigarette on the bench downtown. And they're like, Chewy? They're like, hey, team meeting, come on, get in. So he shows up to this team meeting. He had no idea what had happened. Shows up to this team meeting with no shirt, puking during the meeting. Like, it's funny now, but like, he's still one of my good friends to this day.
Dude, I can't even imagine that like happening now with the current landscape of the way hockey is. Like, dude, none of that would have like, you'd be retiring after that. Half the stuff that you're talking about is just so old time. It's so awesome. But
like I said, we were on that old school, new school transition a little bit, right? And like, listen, I'm not here to say like hockey's got to be about partying and stuff, but that's just what we did back then.
It was awesome.
It's just, it was fun. So it was the team meeting. Like, I'm in Vancouver at this point, so I got airlifted, which I don't. The last memory I have, so we were 30, 35 or something minutes out of town, no service. So that was like, you want to talk about pain. I don't think the pain was so bad that I was blacking out. And I think that's like the body's protection mechanism. It's just like, you're going to go to sleep now because this is too much. Because once that shock started to wear off, man, I like it. It's hard to put into words. I try and put it into words in my book. It's like nothing I've ever felt. And I've had a lot of injuries. I've had every surgery you can think of, probably like you guys, stitches in the face, stitches, all this shit, right? This is just not even on the same planet in terms of pain. But the last memory I have was we're pulling up to the emergency room in this, thankfully one of the guys' girlfriends wasn't drinking, so I'm in her car, and her boyfriend on our team is in the back slapping me, trying to keep me awake. I mean, he probably thinks I'm dying. Like, that's how I was totally naked, passing out. You want to talk about smell? Like, the smell of burnt flesh is like, it's not good. Not good. And my body was fucked. Like, it was like piles of skin, like boiled up and puddled around certain areas. And like, it wasn't good. It was not good. And I remember I kind of came to as we're pulling into the parking lot, and I don't know why I did this. I think I just was like shaking in anticipation of like, get me the fuck out of here. But I jumped out as the car was moving and like road skidded like near the door, got up, ran into the emergency room. So like, picture the emergency room at like this is like 1 or 2 in the morning, right? Like I always joke now, but you probably have your screaming baby. You got the old guy with chest pains. You got like one of the guys got the shit kicked out of him at the bar and he needs to get cleaned up. And like in runs this, I'm totally naked, screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm all bloodied and dirty from rolling around in the dirt, ass naked again. And like, I don't know what people thought. Maybe they were like, hey buddy, just grab a number and take a seat.
Yeah, wait, I'm before you. Yeah, I'm next.
Yeah. So that was the last memory I have. I remember the nurse was like walking towards me with this clipboard, and she literally like was like, whoa, what the fuck? And then they must have knocked me out because that was the last thing I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's like where the journey kind of started in terms of a burn survivor recovery. But yeah, I got airlifted to Vancouver. My poor parents, God, my dad passed away a couple years ago, but yeah, my poor mother, fuck, I've put her through a lot of stuff. So they got that. Imagine getting a call from the cops right at 2 a.m, like your son's been in a bad accident. He's getting airlifted to Vancouver, and yeah, that was. I remember I woke up in Vancouver, like really foggy. I don't really remember a lot. I just remember thinking like, where am I? And then the memories kind of start getting pieced together a little bit. I actually thought I was still in Vernon. I didn't know I was in Vancouver.
Yeah. You don't remember any of that?
No, I was out the whole way. Yeah. Out the whole way.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, and then so go take us through from there. Like, what is your journey like to recovering, getting back to playing, and then eventually through all this somehow still end up at Brown. So just kind of take us through how you go from this absolute, just low to ending up getting to Brown, where you eventually become the captain of a team and get an NHL
an
contract.
Ivy League school, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so like in the last 2-3 years, I've gotten like a lot more spiritual. And I think that happens with age a little bit. And with my dad's passing, and just with like what I have going on with like music and like my family now. And I'm just like, I look back and I'm like, everything was like by design. It was supposed to be this way. It was for a reason. Right. And sometimes it's hard in the moments to see that, but it's just when you ask that question, like, I just look back and I'm like, yeah, this all was supposed to happen this way. And of course, like I said, in the moment, I'm like, there's no fucking way. Right. And yeah, man. So this is like, again, where the story really kind of starts. But I remember I woke up the morning of day 3 in the burn unit. Again, I don't really remember much before that, but I had to get a debridement procedure. So you might remember this when I talk to you guys.
Yeah,
it's basically torture. Like they just skin you alive because the 3rd degree burn areas, it builds up scar tissue so fast that they basically just have to slough it away and get rid of it
like
to keep
little
that site fresh,
19-year-old me listening to this story when you came to speak to us. This was like skin crawling.
Yeah, it sucks.
Type of stuff.
That's an understatement. Yeah. That was like pain that almost matched the car ride after. You're not awake for it. You can't be. Actually, they tried to keep me awake a month into my stay, and they said like, listen, we don't want to keep putting you under anesthetic every 3 days. Like, it's not good for you. Can you try and stay awake? And like, they hit me with 1 squirt of water, and it was like, no chance. And I got a pretty high pain tolerance, and like that almost, it almost put me out. It almost put me to sleep. And anyway, so I wake up from this procedure, and the doctor walks into our room. So remember, this is day 3. Like, my parents don't even know, am I going to make it? Like, I'm fully wrapped head to toe like a mummy. No one's told them what's supposed to happen, what this looks like. We know I'm in Vancouver, which is, there's only 10 beds there at the time. So it's the 10 worst burns in the province. Like, it's not good, right? And the doctor walks into my room and he looks at my parents because, like I said, they're not doing very well. Like, they're pretty upset and wondering what the hell's going on, right? So he says, listen, your son is not going to die. He's very lucky. This could have been a lot worse because, again, this was the first time the doctor actually got a look at my burns, right? And he said, here's the bad news. He's 40% second and third degree burns. There's significant damage to his right arm, torso, and thighs, his inner thighs. And it's going to be a long road. The good news is that his face isn't going to be permanently scarred and that we're not going to have to skin graft over his joints, which is a good thing. And he said, yeah, like he will make a full recovery, but it's get comfortable. He's going to be in here for a long time and it's going to be a long road kind of thing. So he's relaying this to my mom and dad. And in my head, I'm thinking about training camp, right? Like I'm going into my last year in Vernon. My NHL was college. Like that's what I was trying to do. I never even thought about pro hockey. Like I had one goal my first year of junior A, like not someone that was going to go play pro. Right. And that was, you know, I would say a mistake I made was putting those limitations on myself. But to me, it was just like, this is the writing on the wall. I skated with pro guys in the summer. I was like, holy fuck, I'm not even close to that. And whatever, it was what it was. So the college was like, that was my NHL. I didn't like Division III. I would have been great, just somewhere. Yeah. And I hadn't talked to one NCAA scout to that point because like they're not really recruiting fighters. You can't fight in college, right? And so I remember asking this doctor that question, which like again, picture this doctor looking at a guy like head to toe, completely wrapped like a mummy, and he's asking when he can be on the ice because he has training camp in a few months. And he looked at me like I was fucking crazy, like I was still on fire. And I was like, oh shit, it's over. And he basically laid that gavel down and just said, listen, these recoveries take years, not months. Like you're probably still going to be in here by the time that rolls around. Like we'll get you in a pair of skates in a non-competitive environment years down the road when your recovery is complete. That was kind of it. Like the rehab program for burn injuries is a lot. It takes a while. Yeah. And so, that was kind of it. Like that was my first 2 weeks in the burn unit. I had kind of accepted that fate, which is a mistake I made. More the mistake was like letting him rip that dream from me or letting him take it. And I would say like dictating what the future was supposed to look like. But again, I'm young and this guy's seen thousands of burn injuries. So I was like, well, fuck, this sucks, but what am I going to do? Like that was my mindset. Right. And obviously that changed. And so I got a call from my coach. And this is where like it just gets really like, not to get too voodoo or like spiritual or like everything just was like, looking back now, it was all connected. So my coach from Vernon was scouting at this, I don't know what tournament he was at in Vancouver at it was called Gina Place back then, at the rink where the Canucks play at this tournament. And he sits down beside the coach from Brown. They don't know each other. Like he just sits next to him.
Wow.
He's like, and they get talking. He's like, hey, what are you looking for? And blah, blah, blah. And the coach from Brown says, we're looking for a guy to put the fear of God in the defenseman of the Ivy League. And my coach, this is what my coach is telling me is how this happened. Because I'm sitting in the burn unit with the phone between my ear and my shoulder like a mummy still.
Yeah.
And that's what he told him. And my coach says, well, I have the perfect guy for you. There's just, a slight problem. He's laid up in the burn unit and it doesn't look good. So anyway, he puts me in touch with this coach from Brown University and we just talk. And I would say it was left pretty open-ended. They just said, we're sorry to hear what happened. We wish you the best in recovery. And that was kind of it. And man, I just like everything kind of just came not crashing down in that moment, but I remember getting really emotional with my mom and dad because, like you guys, like you work your whole life to fucking chase something. and then it was just taken away from me like in the flip of a switch. And I just remember, so I like sat with that emotion, and I just remember starting to like ask myself questions. Okay, like they're telling me it's over, so why is it over? And they told me like the reasons why, you know, and it was a really long list of reasons, but like infection was going to be really, a risk of infection was very high. Again, I was going to still be in there most likely by the time training camp rolled around. The skin grafts would take years to heal. I had to wear a full body suit, which restricts movement. I can't sweat from those 3rd-degree burn areas. Like the list just went on and on and on. And I remember in my naive young head, thankfully, I was like, basically, it sounds like you're telling me it's going to hurt too much. And I'm like, well, it can't be worse than what I've been through these first 2 weeks.
Pain tolerance in BC right there.
Well, because this has been hell.
Yeah.
And that was slightly naive thinking, because it did get worse, trust me. And yeah, that's when like the switch kind of went off, and I said, fuck that. I don't accept this. This gavel that he's laid down for what my future is supposed to look like. Yeah. And I just like, I don't know. I had this switch or this light bulb or this idea of, you know, we've all like heard of people overcoming impossible odds and different stories of people doing, you know, crazy things. And I just thought like, maybe this is why this happened. Maybe this is my test, or maybe this is to see what's possible. So I kind of like made a promise to myself, and I was like, I'm going to set out on a quest for like human potential. Like how far can I push my body and my mind? Let's go find out. And I made a promise to myself that I was willing to die before giving up. And I truly mean that. I would have died before giving up. And man, it kind of, I would say it unearthed a superpower, because this is why I do what I do now in my coaching business with athletes and visualization and mindset, right? But this is how I started it. And people ask me that. Like, I was bedridden in a burn unit, and I could not move. And so when I made this choice, my mind was all I had. It was just every day, all day. It was the pain and my thoughts, and that was it. And as soon as I started redirecting that, I was shot out of a cannon in terms of like recovery, and eventually like performance later that year. But yeah, like we'd be here all night if we went through the whole book. But what I'll say is that, the superpower was unearthed. I mean, my body fought back with everything it had. Like, I was out of the hospital in 6.
You mean?
Yeah, I just had all these complications because it was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? We're trying to recover from this major surgery, skin graft surgery you had, and I'm out here like, I was trying to do I was doing chin-ups off my like bed bar because I still couldn't move. The nurse, like, my hands were bleeding because they were all burnt and shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like little things. And then eventually when I got out, I was like trying to walk, but if I stood up, all the blood would rush to my skin grafts in my leg, and I'd literally be like walking down the street and the blood would start dripping out of my bandages. So I had to be kind of careful with that, because they would just start bleeding. So I had to keep them elevated most of the time. Anyway, I had kidney stones all summer from being dehydrated and pushing my body too far. I had emergency appendectomy a week before training camp. They had to cut through my skin graft like a week before our opening game.
Holy smokes, man.
I could barely walk. I was on crutches, let alone skate. So trust me, I wanted to quit at some point every day. It was fucking hard. But that's where the visualization, and I call it cinematic mind mapping, but I was living this movie in my head. And I'm just like, that vision of the ending of going to Brown, like, it was just so vivid, and I could feel it. It was there. And I wasn't going to stop. As much as I wanted to, that's what kind of kept me going. And I eventually, again, this is like Cole's Notes version, but I committed in, I think it was November I committed, but I was holding on by a fucking thread, like truly. I could barely fucking walk. And so once I committed, we had to have a collective, like my parents and the coaches and myself, and be like, okay, this is crazy. Like, we got to stop this madness.
We got to stop.
And
we got to take a break here.
Well, that's why if you see my stats that last year, I only played
like 26 games.
Yeah, because I was like,
I mean, dude, 26 games after all that happens in the same year is nuts.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, but like those last 10 games I was playing were like just special teams. I was barely like I could barely move. This is when you could get shot up with anything you wanted. So I was getting all shot up with everything just so I could play, right? So yeah, committed to Brown, and that's kind of where I would say that's like where part 2 starts, because like when I went to Brown, I never even thought about the NHL. I didn't even thought about pro hockey. I was just like, I thought that was it.
This is the goal, right? And you've completed the goal.
I did it. Yeah. So I went to Brown, and like, don't get me wrong, I worked my ass off. I was the most in shape guy on any team I ever played on. So I worked my ass off, but outside of that, like, I just went and had a blast, like I'm living like D1 college.
Yeah.
Like, especially after what I had been through, I was like, fuck, I just went and had a good time. Right. Yeah. I was playing like 4th line. My first year I was in and out of the lineup, and I was taking pre-med. I was going to go be a doctor. Like, that was my plan. Play hockey a little bit, have some fun, meet some girls, and that, go be a doctor. Like, that was my plan.
Yeah.
And I think, like, looking back, I give myself that grace, because again, when you go through that type of life-changing experience and trauma, like, your perspective on life changes, and mine did, and that's okay. But I think the mistake was like, okay, you can't stay there. And so it's like, hey, dummy, if you can do that, what else could you do? But I didn't think that, right? And that finally came after my junior year. So I'm 24 years old. And again, like, you have a pretty good idea if you're going to go play pro hockey at that point, or you're already there, right? So yeah, our assistant coach comes up to me after our season had ended, and he asked me that question. He said, hey, you ever thought about playing pro hockey? And I remember I laughed in his face. I was like, no, like, I don't have an agent. I've never talked to a scout. And I remember I told him, no offense, I play on the 4th line on like the worst team in the country. We sucked.
Were you that bad? Was Brown like a joke?
Yeah, we weren't very good. We were like 5-20. We were like last in the ECAC.
Yeah.
We made a push my last year. We didn't have a good record, but we went to the Final Four of the ECAC. But yeah, we weren't very good those first few years. And so anyways, he asked me that, and he just said, I really think, I've never seen anyone hit the way you can hit. Like, I was hurting guys pretty bad in college. Mm-hmm. Like, I could fucking hit, and that was my thing, right? And you can't fight in college, so like, it was kind of like free reign. Like, no one's gonna do anything. Not that would stop me, because it didn't in the NHL, but you think about it, it's like, oh, we got the Bruins, and Sean Thornton's over there. Like, I'd rather not fight that fucking guy. So yeah, maybe subconsciously I might let up here or there, right? But yeah, in college it was just like free reign. You're like a wolf in a hen house, right? So he just said, and you can skate. I know you can fight from your junior days, and I think if you really worked at the skill part of your game, yeah, you could have a solid 5-10 year career in the American League, and you just never know. Maybe you get a shot one day in the show. And yeah, I just remember thinking, like, thank you. I didn't really know what else to say. And yeah, I went home that night, and like, it was very similar to the burn unit, where the light bulb went off, and I was like, oh shit, like, what have I been doing these last few years? Because I immediately thought back to the burn unit, because I had kind of like not totally lost sight of that, but just what it had given me and kind of unearthed inside me. And like that ember inside wasn't like maybe burning as hot, right? yeah, and the switch went off, and I was like, holy fuck, like I could play in the NHL. I was like, that seems easier than what I had done here, so fuck it, let's do it. Like that was where my head was at, and yeah, so I had to go back to, okay, what got me out of that burn unit to come back and play hockey when I was told it wasn't even possible, and it was that visualization practice, that mind movie. And yeah, man, that's why I do what I do now, because every time I went back to that, and I haven't made the mistake, since I wrote my book, of like forgetting about that, because it's so powerful. Right. But as soon as I went back to that, I was just shot out of a cannon. Like, if you look at my stats, I went from
numbers.
I think I had more. Yeah, exploded, dude. Like,
yeah,
I think I had more points my last year than my first 3 combined.
Yeah, you did. You had 30 in your first 3 years and 32 in your last year.
Yeah, and I became obsessed. I remember after I made this decision, I called my parents. I'm like, I'm not coming home. I'm gonna lock myself in the arena and fucking make it to the NHL. And that's what I did. I worked out like 3 times a day. I worked on my skill as I lived at the arena. Like, I slept there some nights. I was just a machine, and I put on like 20 pounds. I think I almost got to like 220, and
holy smokes.
I was like, and you're talking about like, I'm 25 years old, almost 220, and there's 18-year-old kids coming in at 150. Like, it wasn't pretty. Like, there was like collapsed lungs, like, and I don't like, again, like looking back, do I feel bad? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it was kind of the like,
hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to
do what you got to. I don't regret it. Yeah, it's like, my dream is more important than your well-being. So get your fucking head up.
Pretty hard.
Yeah,
that's how I felt. And like, as sad as it is to say, like, when you score 2 goals and knock 2 guys out of a game, people start noticing that, right?
Well, yeah. How could they not when you're sending a message like that, right?
Yeah, like I went. It was quick, man. It all happened quick. I went like within a few months of that season.
Story, yeah, I remember it was kind of a shock.
It just went really quick. Like, but it was, so remember, like with this practice, I was visualizing. I could see it ahead of time, so it was almost like, it was so cool because it was like replaying it back to me. Like, I had already been there. I'd already seen this part, and then it happened in like the real life, in our physical world, and just like the confidence and everything just snowballed. And I was just a machine. Yeah, like no one in the NHL knew who I was going into that season. And then within like 2 months, it was like, okay, I'm for sure signing an NHL contract. Like, I got 10 teams talking to me after every game. It came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't even have an agent. So I was like, okay, I need an agent. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it happened quick, man. And I remember I called my parents after I signed. And so this is the funny part. I don't know if you remember this. I probably told you guys this, but so this was like I kept this plan I had, or this vision I had, kind of to myself. It was kind of like this sacred thing almost, because until it had happened, like, there wasn't really anything to share. Right. So my parents thought that I was going to go play pro hockey in the coast or something
was like Europe even an option? Like, is this like,
no, I was going to play in the NHL on a 2-way. Like, I knew I'd probably start in the American League.
Okay.
That was, well, I shouldn't, like, some guys sign a 1-way. That's rare, but it happens. But yeah, no, Europe, it wasn't really an option. It's like, if you want to make a run at this, like, you want to start here, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, my parents they knew I was having a good year. They knew I was talking to like some scouts, but they didn't know it was the NHL. So I called them after I signed 2 years with the Canucks, and I said, "Hey, Mom, Dad, how you doing?" And they said, "Yeah, good. What's going on?" And I said, "Yeah, you know how I told you I was talking with some pro scouts?" And they said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Yeah, well, by pro, I meant the NHL." And there was like this stretch of silence on the phone. And my dad finally responds, and he's like, "Fuck off. Like, what do you really want to tell us?" And so I was like, "Dad, I'm serious. You can probably," like, they probably didn't even have internet, but I was like, "Go look somewhere where there's internet. It's all over the place because I was a BC boy. So I get the skepticism because like it literally came out of nowhere, and now you're telling me it's like Vancouver of all the teams. Like, yeah, right, good one. So yeah, and then he repeated himself. Like, he literally didn't believe me, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to be in Abbotsford in like 2 days for my first pro game because Manitoba was Canucks affiliate, but Abbotsford was Calgary's. So that was my first. That was my first pro hockey game, was in Abbotsford. So I was like, well, I'm going to be there. So if you want to come watch your son play his first game, that's where I'll be. So they eventually figured it out. But yeah, man, it's just, and like what I said earlier of just like everything had happened for a reason. And like, I look back and I'm just like, holy shit, had I been like manifesting this from like a young age and I didn't even realize it? Right, because like you grew up watching the team, and then
were you a Canucks fan?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, big time. Like we played in the intermission game twice actually.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how that happened. But yeah, like we had all like the Bure and the McLean jerseys. Like we were diehards. But I just think back on like, what are the fucking chances that my coach sits down in the same arena that I go play in 5 years later to the college coach of Brown where I go play. I'm in the burn unit in Vancouver. I just remember like having this thought because I actually moved to Vancouver that summer, and I stayed only a few blocks away from the burn unit, which was like, again, kind of this full circle moment of like I remember being up in that burn unit in that tower. And like pro hockey was the farthest thing from my mind, the farthest thing from my mind. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm now here as a member of the Canucks. Like, how fucking crazy is that? I just like, and that's where I was like, there's been like, the signs have been there the whole way. I just didn't really put it together at the time. You know what I mean? And like this shit has just gotten even more prevalent as I've gotten older in terms of like these different signs and like everything kind of working together. And I think that's like the beauty of, now we're going like on a deeper spiritual talk, but like, yeah, we're just all on this journey, and there's signs along the way. And if you pay attention, they start to make a lot of sense.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
it
was a fun ride.
Yeah, we actually had Curtis Gabriel on a couple months ago. I know you went on his podcast too, so he kind of talked about a lot of really similar things that you're talking about as well, right? So yeah, it's cool to hear that perspective. Yeah,
him and I have a lot of similarities actually. In terms
totally.
Of upbringing and roles and where we're at now. Is his book out? He's releasing a book soon.
I'm not sure if it's out. I don't think it's out yet. I could be wrong. It might be out by now, but
it might not be out yet. I think I would have seen something on his social media
same
stuff. But he's good shit. But very like, he's had obviously a spiritual. He's reinvented himself in a really, really great way, right? But it's just like you look back and you're thankful for those times that have been difficult because you had to go through that to get to where you are now, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it was a
so
good ride.
Like we said, I mean, we actually got to watch you play growing up. So really cool. So I have to ask about, just your first steps into the NHL. Like obviously you play with Manitoba the year before a bit, and then you get 15 games in the NHL your first year. So what was that first experience like, especially as a BC kid? And then I got to ask you just a couple other quick specific questions about your time in Vancouver as well after.
Yeah, rapid fire. Go for it. Yeah, man, my first year was, again, it was like everything. It was a journey. And I remember when I signed for a pretty good deal on a two-way. So there was expectations to produce at the AHL level. Like the money they gave me was not for like just fighting and doing that. Right. And so I got off to a really good start. I had like,
I don't mean to cut you off. What is good money back then? Because this is like, it's definitely changed quite a bit. So like if you're okay with sharing,
it's probably it's public. I think it's minimum was like 550 in the NHL. I think then I played at the wrong time. The cap's like,
dude, isn't it like
minimum's going to be like $1 million. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not complaining. It was, it was good. But yeah, like my 2A was for 200 in the AHL, but I also got $100,000 signing bonus. So
that's really good AHL money. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it still is good AHL money. So back then,
it still is.
And that was part of like, I mean, partly why I signed with Vancouver, obviously like being a hometown or a home province guy. They gave me way more money than anyone else. So I was like, I have like negative 30 grand. So like, I'll take the money. I think.
Yeah. I'll take my 100 grand.
And what's funny is, so I did what you're not supposed to do and bought a new truck with my signing bonus.
That's what I was going to say is what was the thing you bought? I don't mean to take you off
the... it's 60 grand by the time the tax man takes it. Right. So, and that's
so you got 30 because you're already 30 down.
Right. Well, I paid that off over time. I was like, I got to buy the truck first. But yeah, I bought the truck.
What kind of truck?
It was an F-150. So back then they were 60 grand. Now they're like, God, I don't know. They're probably 100 and something grand now. But and it, so this is the funny part. That truck, literally, I've had it ever since. It just died on me last weekend going camping.
No, you have it still.
Yeah. It's fucked. Like it's all rusted out and like I can't afford anything else now.
At least it wasn't like a complete waste, right?
Yeah, you kept it a long time. Yeah.
It had a good run, but yeah, like that, I don't want to take up too much time, but so we're going camping. I'm hauling our camping trailer. I got 3 kids. So my wife's behind me with our shitty old, I shouldn't say shitty, it's a family heirloom. It's like 50 years old, our fishing boat on the old trailer. So we convoy it out there because my 2 boys, like that's all they want to do is fish, which is great. My oldest boy's almost like he's 10, so he's almost at the point where he can take me fishing and I can just have some beers and sit at the front.
Yeah.
So I'm like almost in the promised land. Anyway, so like my truck totally breaks down. It totally croaks. I'm like, what the fuck? It just stopped running. I'm going up this hill. I'm like on the highway. And this is like, again, it's just like these weird, like, what are the chances? Also, by the way, my mom texted me that morning and she's like, hey, I heard you guys canceled camping. And I was like, no, where'd you hear that? and then my fucking truck breaks down. So it's just like, that was just weird. I don't know. I think it's my dad. Like he's giving me some signs or like something's going on.
Screwing with things upstairs, eh?
Or it's just like maybe like, yeah, maybe I need to go talk to him or something. I don't know, but like, because I broke down literally in front of the driveway of this tow truck driver's company, and we're in the sticks. Like this is like 10 minutes before the Needles Ferry in the Kootenays. Like no one fucking lives there.
What?
So like we're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And I literally just happened to come on this like dirt driveway and there's this like log house and it's this tow truck driver's house. So anyway, that was just like such a weird, like, it's like big problem, quick solution. So it wasn't that bad. My boys just didn't get the fishing boat, which they were not happy about, but we just like switched vehicles and I just towed the trailer with our other car. But so yeah, the truck's dead, but that's where I spent my signing bonus on that.
Money well spent, I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just Vancouver.
16 and a half years. Yeah, pretty much. So it did good. I forgot what your other question was now.
No, I was just asking just about like what it was finally like to step into the NHL, your first year in Vancouver, being in the NHL, all that.
Yeah, so I started in Manitoba, and I started off like first line, second line. I was playing power play. So I think everyone had visions of me being like, I don't know, a third line player, maybe kind of thing. Like not a top 6, but not a fourth liner, maybe, right? And I started off hot. I had like 4 assists in 2 games. I hit the post twice my first game, I remember. So I was on it. I was playing well. got in a couple fights. My first fight was actually, or I had fights in the spring because like you do your ATO or whatever, right? Like you sign your contract. So when I went and played in Abbotsford, I fought that game too. That's another funny story. But so I had a couple fights. I was doing well. I was putting up points and things were going well. And then, like it was like after game 10, maybe I started drying up fast. And I started just going down the lineup, fourth line. And then I was like healthy scratched. And so now I'm getting like, the coaches in Manitoba are pissed. They're like, what the fuck? You need to be producing. And so I just remember I got to a point and I was like, okay, time to go back to like kill mode and just start killing and hitting and fighting everything. And that's what I did. And so it was a really weird dynamic because the coaches and management in Manitoba were not happy because they were paying for possibly all of my salary or most of it. That's how it worked. Back then, or I don't know if still, but so they were like, hey, we're giving you a lot of money. Like there's guys making 40 grand that are like putting up way more points, right? So it was a business, which I learned quickly. And but once I went back to kind of the old Aaron Volpatti style, the development and coaches in Vancouver were like, we love it. Don't stop.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I remember talking to my agent. I'm like, I don't really know what the fuck to do because I got like, they're on my ass here. They're all pissed off. But Vancouver's like, this is great because that's why they signed me for that role. Yeah. I think again, they thought maybe eventually I could be a third liner, maybe, right? So yeah, I remember I got called in, and we had just had another game in Abbotsford, and I had a few of these my first year, but I called them the double homicides, where I'd knock a guy out from a hit, and then I'd get jumped and I'd knock him out. I had 3 of those my first year in Manitoba. So there's 2 guys laying on the ice, and I go by. Dude, they took this one off of YouTube. It was in Toronto against the Marlies. It was the best because I hit this defenseman. This poor guy fucking came around the net with his head up his ass, and I just clobbered him, and he was out. And then the guy jumps me, and I literally had him eventually down on the boards, just like teeing off on this guy. And he eventually went down, and I hit my hand on the board so hard. I remember I thought I broke it. Anyway, the video shows this, and then it literally shows me like I have to step over the first guy and then step over the next guy to go to the penalty box. So they took it down. I haven't seen it in years.
You can't find the clip now.
I can't find it. It was a good one though. So I had
another.
I
want to find that clip.
Yes, if you can find it, let me know because it was a good one.
I'll try. Yeah, I'll try and I'll let you know.
But it was against the Marlies, and then I had another one in Abbotsford, which again, like, so all the Canucks brass come and watch, right?
Yeah, mini tryout, eh?
Oh yeah, totally. So I put on a show. Like I was just like, time to go into kill mode, and this one guy, this poor kid, I fucking hit him so hard that I think he was out in the air, and he kind of got like spun around, and his face like went full force into the ice, and then I get jumped, and then I beat the shit out of that guy. And same thing as I go to the box, and you're just like, I don't know. Have you guys been in fights? Like,
I'm a goalie.
No,
You're a
I
goalie?
haven't actually.
I'm a goalie.
So my oldest boy is a goalie.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm good with it now, but at first I was like, how the fuck did this happen? So anyway, that's a different story. He loves it, which is, all good, but
good.
Yeah. So like when you go to the box and like after that, you're just pure adrenaline, right? Like I remember just like screaming. It's just like very guttural and like animalistic. And then I remember I sit down and then look on the ice, and I just remember thinking like, or even before that, thinking like, why is it so quiet? Like so quiet. And I turned around and like, dude, I'm not kidding you. There was like a 6-foot pool of blood around this guy. And I thought he was dead. And like, so this is one of the ones where like, it's not like, I still feel bad about it. Like you want to, if I break your collarbone or something, but like when you start, I mean, even if a guy like, yeah, you knock him out, but he bounces back, it's like, okay, good. This guy was like in rough shape and didn't move for a long time. I was like, holy fuck, I fucking killed this guy. Like, he hasn't moved in like literally 5 minutes. I don't think he moved. So it was scary for sure. He eventually got off and was all right. But yeah, I think he took a while to recover. So I don't feel good about that. But again, like we talked about earlier, I'm like, so the Canucks brass were there. So I get called up like a week later. I'm in Manitoba, and
You're pissed, eh?
So the coach calls me into his office, and I'm just like, that's never a good sign, right? Well, I shouldn't say never. Usually it's not a good sign, because I was like healthy scratched a few times, playing limited minutes, but playing this part of the role well. And I was like, fuck, is he going to send me down to the coast, or like, this isn't good? And he just, yeah, we had an interesting relationship, because I actually liked him as a person. To just like, we kind of butted heads with everything going on. So he kind of like gave me a smirk. He's like, pack your bags. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, you're going to Vancouver. I was like, no way. What? I did like, that was the last thing I thought he was going to tell me. So yeah, I went there the next day and played Saturday night hockey night in Canada against the Maple Leafs. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's incredible.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Pretty fun. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, then I kind of got a couple like rapid fire. Well, first one's not really a rapid fire, but I was at a Canucks game, I believe against Dallas, and you were playing, and there was a sequence where there was 3 fights in 3 seconds, and I think you actually fought one of your old college teammates.
I fought my buddy. Yeah.
So since I was in the building, I just wanted to ask your recollection of that moment, because that was like probably the coolest moment I've ever witnessed at a sporting event. The 3 fights in a row was crazy.
I love that you were at that game. That's funny.
Yeah.
What was my fight, 1, 2, or 3? I don't even remember.
I know. I don't remember if you were.
I think I was 1.
3. You were. I don't know if you were 1 or 2. I know you were 3. I know Lapierre fought after you, but I don't know if you were first or second.
I think I might have been first, because I remember. So Garbett, we called him Garbs.
Yeah.
He was a good player, really fast, but he cheap shotted Burrows at some point in the game. And so I remember I lined up beside him. I was like, hey Garbs, and like, I went to college with this guy for 2 years. Like, we're pretty good buddies. He's like, hey, he's kind of like, he's like a bit jittery. He's just like very like, yeah, everything he does is like quick, right? He's like, hey, Patty, what's up? I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to fight unless you're gonna have to fight someone. So I'll tell you what, because he doesn't want to fight me, because he knows I'm gonna kick the shit out of him. And I was like, Garbs, grab on, I'll give you 1 free shot. And he's like, okay. So we drop our mitts, and he grabs on, and he hit me pretty good. I had a shiner for like a week. And then we had a pretty good scrap, and I switched to lefts, and he fell down, and I hit him pretty good with one, and we're laughing.
The clip's funny.
Yeah, we had a beer after the game. We both got a black eye, and like, it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's like the fun, man. That's like the fun part, like aside from just being with the boys, and as you guys know, like in the locker room, especially in the NHL, like it's not a bad deal, you know? So that part's great. And then when you play against guys, you know, and you're just like mucking it up, and it's like you're friends, but you're not. Yeah, it's just funny, man. It's pretty unique to hockey, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say so for sure.
Yeah.
And then just another one, like as Vancouver guys, I have to ask about the Sedins. Like, you're there kind of like in their prime. So just what was that like, just them as players and as people too? Obviously now the presidents of a team, and they've always been super involved. So
yeah, it's probably going to echo everything you've ever heard. They're just like salt of the earth guys, and would give you the shirt off their backs. They really would. They're great leaders, very like humble people, great families. Yeah. You know what? I don't think I've ever met a bad Swede. The Swedes are great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I really haven't. And so, yeah, they're obviously no different. I only have really good things to say. I'm really excited to see where this new leadership and management and coaching team
sure.
can take the team.
I mean, only go up.
Yeah, the team's going to suck for a little bit, I think. Like, I don't know how they're going to be good, but Hank and Danny were awesome, man. Like, they always checked in, like, and that's how you knew. And there wasn't many of these guys, but I mean, it existed, I guess. But when you're the call, it more existed on the wives' side. If you're like the fourth line, I don't know, it can get clicky and shit with the women sometimes. They were just like, I remember they were the first guys to come introduce themselves and like ask questions, like, where are you from? Like all this kind of stuff. Right. So yeah, just really good team guys. And then, it's funny, like even Manny Malhotra was, he was my first roommate at training camp. So the first roommate I ever had in professional hockey was Manny for training camp in Penticton, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So funny.
It's actually full circle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right.
And then just one more like kind of Vancouver specific, or honestly, this can just be for your whole career, but just the like in general, just like the coolest experience you had meeting someone, or when you were the most starstruck, or just any just an awesome guy maybe that you wanted to kind of mention from your career.
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, I was so lucky to play with like so many Hall of Fame players everywhere I went.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say like the sleepy answer, but probably the true answer would be Nicholas Backstrom in Washington.
Nice.
Really?
Nice.
Oh man, like the shit that this guy could do like in practice was like stupid. Like Ovi was Ovi. Like he could just blast the fucking puck, obviously, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And like he's a great guy too. Obviously, like you guys probably see the clips. He might not be human. And like everything's true that you see and read, man. Like he's a very rare breed. But like, Backy was just the shit that, and the confidence and the patience that guy had he was a wizard with the puck. It was crazy. So I'd probably say him, just in terms of like the eye-opening level of skill that guy had.
Wow.
I always joke I was doomed to ever get on a penalty kill because I had Hank and Danny in practice in Vancouver making me look stupid.
Yeah.
As a PKer, and then I'm trying to fucking cover Backstrom like
or step in front of an OV bomb. Like, are you kidding me?
No, like, dude, like Backstrom literally could he could
so underrated
puck on. If you put a loony across the ice, he could land it on there. I guarantee you. Like, I would like try and close my legs and then like open. Like it didn't fucking matter. He's gonna find a hole. So.
That's awesome.
I would say that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good ones, but that's one that sticks out for sure.
No, that's great. Yeah. Well, and then just to kind of wrap up the NHL career, like just a little more about your time in Washington, like you just mentioned Backstrom Ovi. So what was it like kind of heading there, leaving Vancouver? I'm sure it was tough, but must have been a pretty cool experience to end up there.
Yeah, I loved Washington. It was kind of one of those things, like I loved Vancouver, obviously, like playing there. And then I think everything happens for a reason, right? It's just, it was nice to like get out of the West a little bit and go to the East. It was something different. And then I found a role there for a couple of years and got my first one-way deal there, which was nice. So they saw some value in that too. But yeah, like you want to talk about a close-knit locker room, like it's not surprising those guys won the cup a couple of years after I left, because it was like, it's a good group of guys. I don't know what it's like now, but I think like all the videos you see like in the tunnel, like those guys are like, they're having fun. I would say that when I got there, it was a little bit too much of a country club. It was very like Vancouver is kind of like what you would expect an NHL team to be run like. Is like you got every like expert you can imagine, sleep expert, nutrition expert, like performance, everything, right? You could be there all day. It was like everything at your disposal. When I went to Washington, I remember like a week went by and I went to Ovi and I was like, hey, do we have like a workout or anything ever? And he's like, if you want to, sure. Like it was just total country club, man. Like, so like too much. So I would say, like, I think those guys just ran like he basically was the coach.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah, if you want to, sure. So yeah, like they just had fun. And I mean, they were just pure skill, but I think the culture needed to change. And eventually it did with Barry Trotz coming in there. And then no surprise, they win the cup, right? But yeah, man, it was just, and the city was awesome. Like I would say it's a sleeper city. If you guys ever get the chance, or I don't know if you've been there, but
I'm
DC is
4 hours
great.
away, I think.
Are you?
Yeah. Next year. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's great. Really good. So nothing but good things to say there as well.
Nice. No, that's cool to hear about that. I mean, it's crazy, like getting to play with the Ovi and the Sedins in Vancouver. Like, yeah, that's some unreal players. So Joe, I just got one last question. If you have anything else you want to ask.
No, I don't want to take up any more time. We've already had 80 minutes of this guy's valuable time. So and it's getting kind of late, dude. The kids are probably asleep.
Oh, the kids were in bed before I came on here. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, then I just kind of wanted to give you the opportunity. Like, I know obviously you're making music now, so I would love to hear you talk about that. You've got your book, you've got your coaching. So I just want to give you an opportunity to kind of plug everything that you're doing now in your post career. It's cool to see you kind of in a few different avenues, in your post playing days.
Yeah, it's been like I said, it's been a journey, and I feel like everything's just kind of like happened the way it was supposed to happen. So yeah, I wrote my book 4 years ago almost, and in that time launched my coaching business. So I work with athletes on visualization and mindset because it's so important, right? Especially
really cool.
I would say especially now it's more important than ever.
Oh yeah.
So when I first launched my business, I was working with like pro and college guys only, and that's just gotten like progressively younger, I would say, because I didn't fully realize the craziness that is minor hockey now. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much pressure on these kids now, and I'm just coming into that with my oldest boy, and I was like, holy fuck, I didn't really realize it was this bad. So I would say these tools are more needed than ever, right? So I would say most of my clients now, like 80% of the people I work with are like 14 to 18-year-old players, and both boys and girls. And the girls are great to work with. I feel like they're not as hard-headed sometimes because the boys think they know it all sometimes. But man, my job is so cool now because not only to impact people and like literally like change their lives in terms of like, yeah, performance and all that's great, but just like general perspective on like how they even approach like this whole journey of like hockey. And
I don't even know about hockey, man. That's awesome.
No, yeah, and like I worked with a lot of WHL kids this year. Like the Ruck boys are an example. I worked with them, and yeah, it's just so funny. Like not funny. It's just all this stuff is very powerful, right? In terms of the input we give our brain, it matters a lot. And yeah, when we worked through it with them, it's like they were like 40th in the league in scoring, and just really worried about like everyone, like what's my draft ranking going to be? I'm in a slump, and just a lot of pressure, right? So when we help them kind of work through like detaching from expectations and outcomes and all this noise, they were shot out of a cannon, right? Similar to like some of the stories I told you guys. Yeah, and then went to Pittsburgh, which is cool. There was talk that they were going to go to the Canucks, but yeah. So like that's the really fun part about my job with my athletes is like once we go through the program, like I stay in touch with everyone, but I get to be like a fan of them now and like follow along their journey because we had like this 4 or 12-week relationship depending what program they're in, right? So it's just really cool. So I'm doing that. So yeah, if there's any listeners that are athletes or have kids that are athletes and they're looking to help on the mental side, I mean, it's more mental than physical. So if you're not pulling that lever, then there's a lot of performance and belief system and all these things left on the table, right? So yeah, man, it's been a really cool job. It still is. I'm looking forward to keep going. And then I do a lot of like speaking workshops with hockey teams, corporate side as well, a lot of keynotes. And yeah, very recently music. So the music is, how do I put this somewhat quickly? It's always been a passion. And it's funny, like some of my buddies, when the music came out, they were like, oh shit, I thought you meant you were just like recording this on your phone and like putting it on the internet. Like it's like a legit song. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking around here. But yeah, so my dad, he passed away a couple years ago from ALS, and we were very close. And I just remember he sat down in front of me at one of the breweries in Revelstoke. And so he had like maids set up with the assisted suicide, right? So he had his date set, and it's literally like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm having a beer with him and just trying to spend a ton of time with him. And he's like, yeah, he just asked me, he's like, what else you got going on in life? Like, what's exciting you, kind of thing. And, you know, like I said, I had my coaching business. Things were good, man. Like I had a growing family. I don't know. Life was pretty good. And I remember saying, I'm getting like a pull to the music, like seriously and intentionally writing music, not like drunk at college at 3 a.m. writing music, like seriously writing some fucking music. Yeah. And I remember he looked at me like only a father can look a son in the eyes and just said, like, what the fuck are you waiting for, son? So yeah, that really kicked me in the ass. And I went like hard at it for about a year. It took me to like, I mean, so I have 10 songs written, 2 are out. I'm releasing another one at the end of the month. And then I'll slowly drip them over the next like year kind of thing. So I have 10 done, but you don't write 10 songs. I probably wrote like 50 songs, and you pick the best 10, right? Yeah. But that's all I did from the hours. And I have I have 3 kids, one that's 3 and one that's 1 now. So at this time, like we were in the trenches, like there wasn't much sleep going on. So I would lock myself in the room from like 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. every night. My wife thought I was sleeping, but I was writing music because I was like, that was the only time I had. So this is, the music you hear is like, that's people ask me like, well, what genre is it? Or like, how did you write it? And it was like, I don't know, man. It's like, that's the cool part of like the creative process. And it's just like, this is just what came out of in the depths of my soul is the best way to put it. Right. Yeah. Like the last song I put out was about me and when my dad would take me on hockey road trips as a kid, I'd throw potatoes at highway signs the whole way, like stupid shit like that. Right. But just father-son memories. So yeah, man, that's the music. I'm looking forward to seeing where it takes me. Like I played some live shows, which is super fun. And if you guys, if we get out into your area and come check it out and let me know.
Oh, absolutely. We will. And anyone listening, like be sure to, check Aaron out on spot. I'm sure you're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all that.
It's everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and then perfect. Before we officially wrap it up, I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything that you wanted to talk about. If it was any story or just any message, anything at all that you wanted to say before we finish here.
No, I think we got it, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Really good one.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. This was incredible. Yeah, it's an honor. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks.